comes, don't postpone it. When others doubt and out, you don't condone it.
Welcome back to Chatting with Liv. I'm your host, Olivia Rosario. This is where we sit down and talk and chat about a wide variety of topics. Let's get started because it is our time to shine.
Intuition upon the stars in the night that glisten. To you they listen, to be you instead of wishing. When your time comes, don't postpone it. When others doubt and out, you.
Good evening. It is December 4th in Houston, Texas, and today's topic is kind of the same as the last topic. So last time we talked about eating disorders, and this time we're talking again about eating disorders, but we were talking about the research that I've done since then. And I've done quite a bit. So I will say that I'm very surprised to find that I did not find as much on certain things than I did than others. However, overall, I found a lot more than I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting to find a lot because eating disorders are not something that is talked about a lot. You know, we don't talk about it because it may seem uncomfortable or just weird, or, you know, people don't want to talk about it because it's embarrassing or awkward or whatever. So I guess not hearing about it a lot makes me think that there's not a lot of information and articles and books about it, but I was definitely wrong in that. The one thing that there was not a lot of and that I struggled to find any information on was nonprofit organizations that advocate for change for eating disorders specifically. Now, of course, there's NEDA, which is very famous. They do a lot. They are the National Eating Disorders Association. They're most famously known for their hotline, and a lot of other organizations, such as the Suicide Prevention Organization, all those, they have hotlines, so it's very well known. But aside from NEDA, there weren't very many popular organizations that I could find a lot of information on, and the few, articles I would find, I would only find one or two, so it seemed like it was local in like a town or even a state, but not nationally, because NEDA is national across the nation. But there are surprisingly a lot of popular people, such as influencers, social media influencers, that have started speaking out more about their eating disorders. And I found a lot because I think it goes with the fact that eating disorders, now they don't just affect young people, but reports have shown that teenagers and young adolescents are where eating disorders often begin. So a lot of times you'll have singers such as Demi Lovato, where a lot of her fame happened in her teenage, young adolescence years. And so the possibility of her going through an eating disorder with all the pressure she was under was so high, but she never talked about it until recently, actually. She spoke out and did a few interviews, and she's very known for her overdose and substance abuse. But she went in to talk about how she dealt with eating disorders during that as well, and how she recovered from it, and how she kind of had to change her mindset. And since then, she has posted a lot on different social media platforms such as Instagram, just advocating for change, and not just change with how certain things are ran, I guess, but more of just she's helping young girls not go through the same things that other girls have gone through. She's trying to advocate for more body positivity and being yourself, loving yourself no matter what you look like, because a lot of times there's a pressure or a standard that you have to look like a certain figure or body type, and that can lead to an eating disorder. Other people that have talked out, Kesha is one that has talked out, and it's surprising because you would never think that they dealt with something as serious and as severe as an eating disorder, and then they speak out, and you're like, wow, they are just the same as everyone else, because anyone can deal with and go through an eating disorder. And because so many people deal with them, they're actually very common. You don't realize it. Statistics show that 30 million people in the U.S. alone have dealt with an eating disorder at some point in their life. And 20 million of those people are women. So a lot of them are actually girls. Not to say that men don't go through eating disorders either, but it's very common for girls to go through an eating disorder, and I think that's because of society's and social media's standards. But moving on, I also found a lot of information on treatment. Now, there is already, because this issue or diagnosis has been out for so long, there's obviously already treatments and solutions. And there's been clinics for a while, so it's not really something that is being discovered. There is research being done to see if new things will work. There was a research study done to prove whether or not exercise would work in recovering from an eating disorder, and a lot of people were very hesitant about it, because for some, when you go through an eating disorder, part of that is the excessive exercise. You're constantly working out to be skinnier and lose weight, or lose what you already ate plus more. So when you work out in order to recover, it's almost as if it would be PTSD, but the findings from that study actually showed that it was very successful, and that exercise at a limited amount is actually very beneficial. So there was a lot of articles, almost 300,000 articles or more, about solutions and treatments for eating disorders. So I think there's definitely a lot of research and information out on the internet and in libraries about eating disorders, and it's something that is so researched about. I think that the one thing that needs to be done in order for this issue to kind of be changed or fixed and helped is to talk about it more, and talk about it with younger generations, and also, just be yourself, not try to be something or someone else, because then we're living in a society full of lies. But anyways, be yourself, have a fantastic day, and thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in once again to Chatting with Liv, featuring Livia Rosario. Make sure to tune in again to hear more. And now it's our time to shine.
Own path with your own vision.